episode. Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Boogie, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
What it do? What it do? Your boy is back. It feels good to be back after 2 weeks off. You know who it is, Young Rome 22. All the loyal listeners, subscribers, followers, you already know that. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. As always, we got another great show for you tonight, and I'm going to let the boys introduce themselves, starting with the top left.
What up? Scruff Lion, GoodAssSports, man. It's the play-in tournament, man. You know what I'm saying? It's festivity season. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good about the play-in tournament, the playoffs, man. You know, this is one of my favorite times of the year, man. The best basketball. We just came out March Madness, and now this. So I'm ready.
Yes, sir. A lot of basketball to talk about tonight, man. The play-in tournament. Might even get into some of the teams that aren't even in the play-in tournament, which is kind of embarrassing. But top right, man. Let them know who you are.
At Bryce, XXV, Double I, a.k.a. Mr. Big Leaguer. And if you don't know, this is the 100th episode of Gas Presents Sports for the Culture, man. Happy 100th birthday, fellas. It's like our birthday, man. You know what I'm saying? Episode 100. We made it to the century mark. Here's to 100 more.
I was unaware of that,
Sure.
man. This is the big 100, man. Yeah, we're gonna have to celebrate that one. And last but certainly never least, man, bottom right.
T-Boogie, man. I'm here. Had no idea it was the 100th episode, man. Like, I would have dressed up. I'm out here looking like a freak. And I could have at least combed my beard, put on a bow tie or something. But I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Wash your hands, wash your ass. Let's get this show started.
Yes, sir, man. Let's get it started, man. Episode 100, man. It's been quite the journey, fellas. Like, before we get started, man, let's talk about episode 100 right quick. Like Gas Presents Sports for the Culture, man. Like we've been doing this thing for 100 weeks straight, man. Like, just give you quick thoughts on what this journey has meant for y'all. Jump all on that.
Shoot, man. Honestly, it's crazy when I look at the old videos because we was like, mid like COVID during them Jones, so like some of them was real rough. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't believe I didn't have nothing to shake myself up with during those times. You know what I mean? But besides that, man, like honestly, every week, man, it's a journey, man. It's a beautiful thing. Like, and the people that tune in with us, it's much appreciated. But we just enjoy. I just enjoy the time. It's like you can just release and just do what we do, man. And the fact that people been rocking with us for 100, man, that's 100. So that's pretty much all I got to say.
For sure. And look, for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is probably the most meaningful a Tuesday has ever been. You know what I'm saying? The entire existence of my life. I don't know that I've ever looked forward to Tuesdays until, you know what I'm saying, episode 1. Maybe a week before that. But yeah, like, glad to be here with you guys. 100. Let's go for 100, 1,000, a million more, man. Let's turn this thing up. But it's crazy because like Scrub said, man, you look back at some of these old videos and it was mid-COVID, but some of these episodes are like just mid. You know what I'm saying? No COVID, just mid. Just mid. Hey,
You're gonna have to look for them though.
Hey, and right, and shout out to the people that's been here, man.
Yes.
Brooks, you know what I'm saying? My man Hansel, D Money, Big Shirley, like the people that's been here. And I just want to thank everybody because this means a lot to me, and thank you too, fellas. You know what I'm saying? This thing has become a brotherhood, so you know what I'm saying? It's more than just business.
No, that's a fact, bro. That's very well said, man. That's very well said. I can remember back, like, at the inception, like, trying to put something together and just thinking about the best ways to do it. And, I put y'all through a lot of shit early, like trial runs and, you know what I mean? Like, I know y'all was probably like, bro, this dude asked us to do one more trial run. But, I mean, like, it all ended up being worth it, I think. And I feel like we got a great, cast of characters together who really feed off each other, Like, I feel like we have 5 unique personalities, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you can't really and we all kind of got similar like things with us, but at the same time we all different. You know what I mean? It's crazy how we are able to feed off each other's energy, and it definitely wasn't like that from day one. But as T kind of alluded to, we've really grown. We've really grown into our own, and I think in first 70 episodes that kind of culminated in us getting that big award. When we were rated the top sports culture podcast of 2021. So I mean, people see what we're doing, and hopefully, like we just keep growing, we keep going because we're not doing it for the people because we were doing this when we had 5 to 7 views. You know what I mean? We had 5 YouTube views and we were still going strong. So like in the day, man, they say when what you're doing is a truly an expression of yourself, you'll never have to stop doing it, and that's exactly how I feel about this show. So hey, appreciate y'all, man, because I mean, I couldn't ask for a better team on this, man. Like no way we could have a better team than what we got. Hey, and that includes G too. G out today, man. He getting ready. Poppy getting ready for his trips, man. He traveling the world. But shout out to my boy G too, man, because he's another valuable member of this team.
Yes,
For
sir,
sure.
man. Shout out G. Shout out Scribble, man. Shout out everybody that contributes to Gas, man. For me, man, like y'all been saying, it's been like a brotherhood. I didn't even realize we got to episode 100. This is such a regular thing, man. It's like I wouldn't miss this unless something really came up. Um, but one thing that I love that we do here at Gas and on this show especially is when we report on things, man. We try to give it a spin for the culture. We try to represent the culture, and a lot of the times in the sports world, you don't always have people that are reporting on things that are representative of the culture or can take the time to analyze something and articulate it in the way that some of us will probably be a little bit better at. And what I'm alluding to right now is something that Scruff and Bryce had already spoken on a little bit earlier in the week. I think they put out a video on it already. But I don't know if everyone out there watching had seen it. If you hadn't heard, Dwayne Haskins had passed away. He was hit by a car. But when Adam Schefter had first reported on it, he chose to, use some language, some words like how he was struggling in the NFL, and just pointed out some things that you typically wouldn't point out when someone passes away. So I just wanted to say, while I'm talking about our 100th episode, that's something that here at Gas, like we try to be real sensitive about those things, and we try to always give a different perspective. And not to say that Adam Schefter, is a terrible guy or a bad person or anything like that, but certain things that slip out of these people's mouths are not the things that you would see here at Gas or have happen here at Gas, and that's kind of the reason we wanted to get our voices out here and why we feel our show is so important. So I'm gonna let the fellas touch on that. I do want to say, rest in peace to Dwayne and his family. Condolences to them. Tragic situation. Those of you that have been following the show for a while know I've been a huge fan. Um, me and Bryce have done the Commanders podcast, so you can go back. We've been rooting for Dwayne for quite some time. So we're devastated by this news. My son actually had a poster of Dwayne in his room for a little bit when he was the starter back when he was starting down here. So it was terrible news to hear. So again, thoughts and prayers to his family. And I'm gonna let the fellas touch on that too, and touch on the comments made by Schefter and Gil Brandt as well, who had some ridiculous things to say.
Yeah, I'll start with that, man. Like you said, Ron, we had the Commanders podcast going strong, and that was kind of the inception of our friendship right there, and it kind of coincided with Dwayne Haskins becoming a Washington team player, right? And we both were believers, no question. I mean, we were we skeptical at times, sure. I mean, you watch the games, you have your judgments from the games, but like it was clear for anybody that was watching closely that Dwayne was like he was a genuine guy. You know what I mean? He was a personable character. He was a type of guy that like even in the moments where teammates might have felt the way about him, they still were down to rally around him. I go back to that moment where I think they beat the who was it that they beat? The Lions. They beat the Lions. I think it was like the score ended up being like 19-16. And the whole week there was a lot of chatter about Dwayne Haskins not getting the playbook down, Dwayne Haskins and teammates and all this stuff. But as soon as that game hit zero, the coaches were coming up to hug him. The players are coming up to hug him. Like you could tell that like everybody was really rocking with Dwayne Haskins. And he went through so much as far as like uh, in his career. And I think the thing about that is there was always a sign that he was gonna get it. And I feel like that's what people really been sleeping on. Like even when he was with the Commanders, even when he moved on to the Steelers, like there was always optimism that he was gonna figure it out. There was never really a pessimistic view on Dwayne Haskins from anybody that was outside looking in. For the most part, it always seemed like people just felt like once it clicked for him, it was going to click in a big way, and it was bound to click. And that's how I always felt about him, even when he left Washington. Like I was like, oh, this dude gonna figure it out. We're gonna have egg in our face once he figures it out because we're gonna look stupid. And it just sucks that never was able to pan out. That's the worst part about that. Talking about a kid that's 24 losing his life, like I can only imagine what his family's going through. I can only imagine what his wife is going through. I can only imagine what his sister is going through. So to them, like our deepest condolences for sure. And as a fan of Dwayne Haskins, as a fan of Washington, it hurts that like because I didn't know him personally, but it always hurts to see a brother die. But it's also like it hurts that like I feel like he was going to get it. I feel like he was going to figure it out, and he never got that opportunity because his life was cut short. So rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. Honestly, when I first heard that news, like it choked me up a little bit. Like I was like, man, like I followed this guy's career so closely, and to see his life end like that, you wanted it to be fake. You wanted it to be a mistake. So my condolences to Dwayne's family, and I'll never forget Dwayne Haskins. That's for sure, man. His legacy will live on. His legacy will live on for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when I got the news, it was crazy. What I'm saying? I said this on the show plenty of times. I have a son that plays quarterback. When I got the news, we were actually at a football tournament. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of, I always kind of wanted to see Haskins succeed. You know what I'm saying? And I joked about his career with the Commanders and things like that. But you know what I'm saying? On a personal level, I did want him to win. I did want him to succeed. I wanted him to, even when he went to Pittsburgh, I wanted him to find a way into that starting spot. You know what I'm saying? And even when I told my son like what happened, he was like, "Well, who's their quarterback?" He assumed Haskins would be the starter. Um, so it's just tragic, man. 24 is such a young age, and life is short, but 24 is still such a young age. I can remember being 24 and some of the things that I did, and a lot of the things he did in Washington, that people attribute to his maturity, weren't anything crazy for someone of his age. It's maybe not expected at that, position, but I think I think people really weren't fair with Dwayne. You know what I'm saying? 1 year college football. And what makes it worse is when you see guys like Adam Schefter, you see guys like Gil Brandt, that's immediately what they jump to. The struggles, the challenges, the hurdles. And this is a life that was lost. This is not some created player in Madden that you drafted. This is a guy that had, like Price said, a family, a wife, teammates, friends, loved ones, fans from two organizations, and it's just tragic. It's sad, and he had so much football, so much life, so much everything in front of him. It's just hard when you see a guy, when it's unexpected, man. Anytime it's that unexpected, it's just hard. But yeah, condolences, thoughts and prayers to his family, and hopefully the young quarterbacks like my son and other quarterbacks in this area try to keep his legacy alive. He did play for Bullis. He actually had committed to Maryland over Rutgers, and ended up going to Ohio State. But so there's a little connection there for everybody. But yeah, man, everybody wanted to see Haskins win, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. And unfortunately, he didn't get the chance. But only thing we can do is remember him properly, and not like some of these guys that aren't qualified to speak on some of these guys. And it's also why a show like this exists and why you should support shows like this. And that's not a shameless plug. It's just because some of these guys, to the Shefties of the world, that's just a headline, man. It's just a tweet. Like, even when he fixed the tweet, he literally deleted a sentence and added a new sentence, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's shameful behavior, man. But
honestly, yeah, I'm just really expand on that. Just kind of like the desensitization of like human lives when it comes to sports, because like kind of to the degree like athletes are, in like a spectacle. So it's like almost like a snow globe effect. It's like when people go to the museum and they just start like touching on the glass and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know when you're a professional, and this really doesn't really apply. It applies to us, but it applies to any profession. You just kind of have to have like a mutual respect for people because we all are people and we are humans at the end of the day. So I think maybe sometimes people like in that position and you're doing it all the time, you can get desensitized to certain things. Not an excuse for what he did. I already condemned this man once, so I ain't gonna condemn him twice. But I'm just trying to like, put it all out in perspective. And I think the biggest thing is like you dealing with a human life. Shout out to anybody, any profession that when you're crossing, you know, you making your interactions with people throughout your day, or whatever your profession is, whatever your interactions are with other people, you're making them good. And you're remembering that you're dealing with people and human beings. So I think that's important. Especially when it comes to sports. And a lot of athletes spoke up on that. Like, they looked at, you know, almost like they just entertainers, but like ultimately, like, you know, it's mutual respect for human beings. I think that's what's lacking.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Shefty kind of just treated it like it was a headline, and next tweet, like it. Uh, I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
that's a fact, man. And then like the validity of his tweet was, in my opinion, it wasn't even valid. Like to say like he struggled to catch on with Washington and struggled to catch on with Pittsburgh. First off, how am I struggling to catch on with a team if I was a first round pick by the team? It's not struggling to catch on, you know what I mean? Or like second, how am I struggling to catch on in Pittsburgh if I'm on the roster? Like, I'm not struggling to catch on. Like, I just signed a contract for another year on the roster. Like, the narrative gets so like twisted to fit whatever it is they want to paint. You know what I mean? And it's like you can't just do if you when you just do it in that way, it's reckless. It's reckless. And I think that's the worst part of it to me is like like what is that rooted in? You got to ask yourself, what is that rooted in? I said when me and Scruff did a short on it, I said like if that was David Carr, he would have said former first round pick. If that was J.P. Lossman, he would have said former first round pick J.P. Lossman. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't have
Yeah.
started with J.P. Lossman who struggled to catch on with the Bills, wherever the hell else he played. It wouldn't have started with that. But like when it's Dwayne Haskins, it's like you get that different type of energy. And I mean, we could go into depth. We could go in depth about that, but I don't think it's really a need to. We all know where that's coming from. If you're watching this show, you probably know where that energy's coming from. But like that whole thing just needs to be called out. And big respect to all the players that called him out instantly. I mean, there was a ton from former players like
Lamar
Dez Bryant.
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson was probably the biggest name to just instantly like, bruh, he called him a lame straight up like. Joe Hayden. Like it was a few guys that like instantly spoke up. So respect to those dudes, man, because like it takes that to cancel an Adam Schefter. You know what I'm saying? We not us together, us four, we're not gonna be able to get Adam Schefter off. But if every player in the NFL said I'm done rocking with him, like you're not signing me if you're giving information to Adam Schefter. Like I'm not signing with that team.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I
So like
think
it takes those type of moves.
I think that is what ultimately led to his apology that he did on his podcast. Um, once he started getting smoke from the Lamar Jacksons and the Joe Haydens of the world, if you think about it, kind of like Scruff was alluding to, Schefter's position, like he's got to talk to these players day in day out, interact with their agents, interact with people. He's going to be in these streets, so to speak, when it comes to being around the players. That's how you get all these scoops. And you can't speak like that when someone passes, especially someone that a lot of these players are probably friends with, and think that you're still going to be able to get scoops or exclusives of any sort. So I think that ended up hurting his bottom line, which is really where I think the apology came from. So I personally don't really accept his apology. I don't think it really holds much water. I think it really just came from him trying to protect his pockets at the end of the day, because he's in a big enough position and knows the power that he holds to in his words to be smart enough to know that that's not the route you go. Like someone just passed away, you don't talk negatively on them. It doesn't matter if they struggled or if they didn't. You know what I mean? he just passed away. So it's bigger than football. Like we've already said, he's got a wife, family, mom, sister, father. Like to instantly go to the struggles is very lowbrow, and it's something that I would think ESPN would call out. I think I did see one of his coworkers and Ryan Clark tweet something to him as well, but I would think ESPN as a whole organization would want to sit down to Adam Schefter and speak to him about that because they've definitely spoken to other people about other things. So,
You
but
know,
I don't work there, and I'm not an executive there. But for me, it would be something that me and Adam Schefter would have to
it's
work
big.
out if he wanted to keep his employment.
It's, it's big money when it comes to ESPN, man. But big thing like is like it's relationships. They be on there, they be, you know. There was actually some headlines that when I was, we were talking about that short. I found in my research was that this is actually not the first time Adam Schefter has been linked to some susness. You know what I mean? Like he was linked to John Gruden and all that nonsense that came up. So he was out here in the club and John Gruden group chat. So what we talking about here? You
I
know,
mean, look,
I
when he
did I
tweeted it,
did see a I
Bro, we
did see
already
a tweet that somebody was like, "Man, Adam Schefter should have had Bruce Allen edit that first."
that's
right?
funny. But we already know, bro, whenever you see a dude like Adam Schefter who ain't do shit for nobody, who ain't never done shit, let's be honest. Like I ain't know if Adam Schefter wasn't on ESPN, we wouldn't know who the hell Adam Schefter was, right? So he's doing something to get this information, bro. Like what I'm saying? Like Scrub said, everything is relationships, right? So based off one of your relationships, you're getting this information. And we all know, end of the day, we all know relationships boil down to a give and a take. I mean, even with your best friend might call you and talk to you about some of their bullshit. As a friend, you take on their bullshit, you might give them some advice and then y'all bounce it back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what relationships are. It's a give and a take. So my question is, what is Adam Schefter taking or giving to get this information? I don't
well,
know,
you
bro.
got. I
I don't
mean,
know what he's doing to get this
I,
information, but
I
I
got.
think
I know what
Adam
he can give.
Schefter.
I know what he can give. Go ahead. But I'm about to
Ex-
say,
No, 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 no. Look, I think what I'm saying. Like you said, Schefter has those relationships, right? But and that's it's funny to me that how could you get something that simple so wrong, right? But I think if you have relationships with those guys, like the Bruce Allens, right, the guys that are going to speak crazily about a Dwayne Haskins and not have the relationships with the players, you know what I'm saying? Because any human could have told you that, bro, this is not going to go over well for you if you
Any
highlight
human.
negativity in this tweet. You know what I'm saying? You were so anxious to break the story that you had no regard for, what I'm saying, this man is a human. But I think it speaks volumes to who his relationships are with. You know what I'm saying? It's probably guys that look like him and they're probably not players. So, that lets you know where this league is. You know what I'm saying? It's more indicative of where this league is.
nah. But back to what you said though, Bryce, about what he could give in return. I think part of what he can give in return is the fact that he's the guy that breaks the story, so he can control the spin on things. You know what I'm saying? To some degree, when things happen, like you can't control things happening, but you can control the way that the spin go on certain things. So like that is some kind of a you know value to offer
It
to
is it is
owners.
very valuable, man. Control the narrative, man. If you got a guy in the media that oh, hey, so and so did this that, and the third, but I need you to break the news so that when people hear it, it sounds like yeah. So I mean, I definitely get you on that, Scruff. But
I
yeah,
want to
fellas, we
know how he
got
got here. I want to know. I probably don't want to know, but how did he get that very first piece of news? How did he get that very first information that gave him any sort of credibility? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like
Actually, it makes
something
more
with
sense though.
it's some funny shit. It's some funny shit going on with Schefter, man. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
no, it makes a lot of sense now because he's like jaded. He's got to be like we talk about the relationship that he has. One of the relationships that came up in that investigation was Bruce Allen, and he the Washington owner or whatever. So
he
like
was
what
the
I'm
team
saying.
president,
Obviously, he probably doesn't have a great view of Dwayne Haskins, like regardless of
right?
what his statement might say. Like you cut this man after his second year, like that was unheard of. I've never heard of anybody being cut in their second year by a team that drafted him with the first round. You know what I mean? Like usually you give him at least a little time, at least let him play the damn playoff game. You gonna bench him, like you know what I mean? Like you bring the dude off the street to play the next week, like you don't give a damn. So like his first take was probably reflective of the fact that Bruce Allen is probably his max, and they probably openly, you know, keep, I don't know what they say
Yeah,
about Dwayne
yeah.
Haskins, but they probably don't think very highly of him, and that was reflective in the statement.
Yeah, very much so. He probably underestimated how much people loved and appreciated Haskins as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because you can throw all the football stuff out window when life gets real. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a kid sport at its core. And when real situations happen, that's not time to talk about football. But moving on, man. I don't want to talk about this guy.
Before
Yeah.
we move on though, we gotta talk about Gil Brandt, clown ass. Yo, Gil Brandt is like 90 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call him Sleepy Gil because I don't know how he still got the platform, man. But that whole time he was talking, he sounded like he was about to fall asleep, and your man was just talking crazy, bro. Like I'm not gonna repeat what he said. If you want to go find out what he said, search it for yourself. But just know that Gil Brandt was talking crazy about Dwayne Haskins, like to the point. His comments made Adam Schefter's comments look
Yeah,
decent. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
how bad his were. So like
Honestly,
Gil Brandt is the ultimate clown in all this. Like,
everything about the girl Brant part of it, his comments were worse, in my opinion, than Schefter's, and his apology was even meaningless, even more meaningless than Schefter's. Like, it felt like Schefter or someone at ESPN or somebody at least was like, "Hey, you messed up. You got to go, put this out there." Go Brant was basically just like, "Oh, I said some stuff I should have said. My bad." like, like he didn't even really walk it back, man, and that's because he meant it. And
That's truly
like
how he
Bart said,
felt.
I'm not even gonna repeat it because I listened to the comments, man, and it's one of them things where I can honestly say as a black man, I got upset, bro. Like I felt like this man was like I don't even think that was like necessarily rooted in racism. It just was racism. Like I didn't like how it felt listening to that man say it, and I would encourage anyone to go check it out for themselves and decide for themselves how they feel about that person. But that's another person who I think he works for like CBS or some radio station. I'm not sure, but again, as an employer, how are you employing these people? Y'all, the employers need to either send these people to some HR meeting or you know what I mean. Like y'all need to sit down and talk to these people
Do some
because
online
the things they're
trainings.
saying the things they're saying are just crazy. This is crazy. I can't even believe it's real.
You know
I mean,
what? You know what's
even other reporters were talking about like how they couldn't understand how that was being said. I want to say the Washington team president even commented on it. It was very much given in word. Like it was on the tip of the man's tongue. Like I felt it.
yo, B, you wild, bro. He said it was giving word. That's hilarious, bro.
bro?
Yo, yo.
Gil Brandt is literally from an era where like black quarterback wasn't a thing. You know what I'm
But to
saying?
be as
Like,
to be as close to croaking as Gil Brandt is, and to still be talking like this, like, bro, you right around the corner from croaking, bro. This is keeping the buck, bro. Like if
I
Gil
mean,
Brandt dropped tomorrow, nobody would be shocked. Hey, I'm not trying to be cold about that, but it's just a fact.
but
So
that's
like,
he
that's
going out
you that
swinging.
old, still thinking and feeling and talking like this, bro. Like you haven't got no wisdom in your age, bro. Like clown, bro, clown, man.
the hard reality is, bro. He has a very small spot in the media, because a lot of our viewers probably didn't know who this man was before this, but like there are people that like that tweet of the recording. You know what I'm saying? There are people that heard his take and agreed with it. Like we can't kid ourselves. There's a certain demographic in this country that are all in for that type of rhetoric. So you know that it's kind of revealing. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps you aware that no matter how much things change, some things still stay the same.
That's very well said, T. That's very well said. That is something to keep in mind, man. Is there's definitely a small portion of people out there that enjoy that. So God bless them. But Before we get into this NBA play-in tournament, man, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, lighten up the mood, man. Talk some basketball. I think we got a quick little something to throw to you, right? Scruff's gonna throw it to us real quick, and then we'll get to some NBA after the break.
All right, hold on 1 second. My welcome, everybody out there tuning in from La La Land. It's your favorite show on the block. Gas presents sports for the culture.
Good ass sports. I don't know nothing about those sports, but I know they good ass sports.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, fellas. So, as you know, the NBA play-in tournament started tonight, Tuesday, man. And at this moment, we can say that Kyrie has started this thing on fire. We are definitely about to get into some Kyrie talk. The Nets looked as advertised. Looks like they didn't need Harden. Um, so yeah, man. Where do y'all want to start with this play-in tournament, man? Y'all want to start with the Nets because Kyrie was killing it tonight.
Bro, Kyrie is going. You know what, man? Scruff likes to get on me for saying I never change my mind a lot. But one person I have completely changed my mind. I've done a complete 180 on Kyrie. He's gone from being one of my least favorite NBA players, bro, to like I've never had a player go from being one of my least favorite to one of my favorites. Like, and I think he was one of my least favorite back when we was battling them all the time and stuff. It was kind of that John Wall versus Kyrie debate back in the day. But like, yo, Ky, let me finish, guy. Let me finish. But no, this guy Kyrie, man, I got the utmost respect for him, bro. One, he stood on it. He stood on his shit, man, when it came to the vaccine thing. I don't care which way you feel about that. Like, you might support the vaccine, you might not, but you should always support a man standing on his own too. You know, and standing on what he believes in. And then today he just dropped 34 points after fasting for Ramadan, bro. Your man different, bro. Your man is different. Like, when I found that out, he talked about it in the post game interview, and like, yo, you could tell. I said it on the show before. You could tell Kyrie is somebody that's growing in not only his like game, but in his like personal and spiritual development. And it just shows every time the man talks. Even with all the COVID stuff, like he never said nothing like offensive to anybody. He handled each and every interview like perfectly. And it was to the point where like people had to reach to say something bad about his opinions with that. So shout out to Kyrie for becoming one of my favorite players now. As far as the Nets, I need to run and check their odds on winning the championship, bro. Because I mean, you got Kyrie playing on this level,
odds.
And they got what?
They got the third highest odds right now to win the championship, actually.
Well, that's not as good as I thought it might be. But you got Kyrie playing at this level, and you got KD doing what KD does. I mean, I know the Cavs game got tough at the end. Don't get me wrong. They got out to a hot start, and they got tough at the end. But, bro, nobody wants to see the Nets, bro. Like, if you're one of those teams in that top 4 or 5, like, the last team you want to play is the Nets, especially the team in the top 2. Like, you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to end up losing. It's going to be embarrassing to lose to a 7th seed or whatever they are. Like, because they could beat anybody any given night as long as they 2 horses are on the court. So, looking forward to see how they perform in the next round and going forward.
So what you're saying is Boston already has no chance.
No, I'm not saying that. I would never say Boston has no chance, but for my money, I'm taking the Nets in that series, bro. I'm taking the Nets in that series because, like, I think KD's gonna be the best player in the series. I think Kyrie's gonna be the second best player in the series. So you got 2 best players in the series. You got a good shot.
Right. All right, T. Kyrie has made my man Bryce a believer, man. Are you a believer?
I mean, I've always believed in Kyrie's skill level as a basketball player. He's been elite. You know what I'm saying? He gave us that famous Kobe moment. Easy money. You know, but Kyrie's confidence. You know what I'm saying? I play you one-on-one. Like, that's who Kyrie has been since Duke. You know what I'm saying? Since high school. Like, the guy can score the basketball. But I say this a lot, and every time I say it, people push back and give me flack. I've said this about various basketball players, but Kyrie's brand of basketball, similar to, when I was saying this about Russell Westbrook, I just don't know if it's a winning brand of basketball. I mean, I look at what he did tonight, man. Amazing. You know what I'm saying? Shot the ball very efficiently, dimed it out, and still in the plus minus ended up +2 for the game. So after all of that, your team was up while you were on the floor. Your team had a 2-point advantage. And I look at KD. When KD's on the floor, +16. You know what I'm saying? Similar shooting from the field. I think that has to go to KD, man. We saw KD lose with Russ taking too many shots. I don't want to see KD lose again with Kyrie doing the same thing. So, am I a believer in Kyrie as a basketball player? Hell yeah. Am I a believer in the Nets? Yeah. I don't know, bro. I don't think they walk past Boston. I think Boston is firing at all cylinders, man. They messing around walking to a buzzsaw. So, to answer your question, I believe in Kyrie as a basketball player, and I don't think the
So
Nets
let
can
me
win it
let me
all.
put it to you like this then. So I'm hearing what you're saying. So do you believe in Kyrie more than you believe in Russell Westbrook as a basketball player? Because we saw how he
Easily,
went in
easily,
LA. We
Bruh,
easily.
saw how he
what?
went in LA. So my question is, if you believe in Kyrie more than you believe in Westbrook, what makes you think that Kyrie won't be able to, like tonight he had the hot hand, so he got to
Yeah.
be Batman. What makes you think Kyrie's gonna have a problem with being Robin if KD's the one with the hot hand?
I mean, Kyrie, different personalities. Different. Russ has proven himself to be an alpha. You know what I'm saying? He's going to shoot the ball. Before this, before this Lakers season, he was going to shoot the ball no matter what, making shots, missing shots, miss 5 in a row, make 5 in a row. He played at one speed, one tempo. Kyrie has the ability to offer different things, and I do think he can see KD getting hot and say, "Bro, go cook." Like to me, Kyrie is more of a hooper. Like he's not as selfish. Like if KD's on, bro, go. If you got the mismatch, go get the bucket. You know what I'm saying? So I do think Brooklyn could get past Boston, but to win it all, if you rely on Kyrie to score you 50 points to win, I don't think you can win the championship that way.
They never really been relying on that though. And let's keep in context, like their minutes get staggered a lot, right? So the plus minus not going to tell you the entire story if you ask me,
I agree.
unless it's a big negative plus minus. If your plus minus is in the positive and your team wins, like in my book, you're good. You know what I mean? And when the minutes are getting staggered and you're a point guard playing with at certain moments guys that can't shoot and spread the floor for you, and then KD, the nature of his game is, he affects the game in a lot more facets than Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? So it's like 9 times out of 10 that they play in the game, KD gonna have the better plus minus. KD's the better player. And another thing is like Kyrie definitely gonna be able to play that Robin role when need be because he has the ultimate experience in doing that with LeBron. I mean, Kyrie knows when it's time to step up and when it's time to fall back. You know what I mean? And I think with KD, a guy that like KD not gonna step on no toes. You know what I'm saying? The way that maybe a LeBron would. So it's like I feel like they're more of a more of a perfect match than Kyrie and LeBron were because like KD gonna let Kyrie do his, and Kyrie's gonna have the presence of mind to when he knows it's KD's turn to defer to him. I think it's going. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. It's like it kind of was working out last season. You know, they just ran into the injury bug and stuff. But
I
Look,
mean,
man,
honestly, man, bump all that stuff that y'all talking about. This Batman, Robin nonsense is nonsense. That narrative is stupid. First start with that. Like it's ego based. You know what I'm saying? So the difference between that situation and the LeBron and situation is this. Like, all right, it's one thing to have a dynamic that you didn't ask for. You was drafted to Cleveland. You was the guy. And then LeBron come in and he's super the guy. And then like your whole squad gets disrespected. You don't got no pull no more in the squad. Different thing for a young player, And like Bryce said, my guy Kyrie, he's showing growth. He's showing spiritual enlightenment, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I see the signs. You know what I'm saying? So like, dude's not coming here on no ego shit. First of all. Second of all, no better relationship than the one that you chose to be in. You know what I'm saying? First of all. So they came there to be together. You know what I'm saying? Now they got a little extra little stir up because he stood by his principle and he got back, and now he coming back, and he was going off crazy during that whole period when he was doing that. So he coming in crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's not about who got the last shot, and it's the Nets. Let's be perfectly frank. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like, yo, look at the rest of the roster right now. Look at the way that team is playing. Like, it's not a situation where it's like you got to be Batman, Robin. Like, yo, we need Batman and Batman for real, because like, look at the Nets. Like, they need every bit of that. Like, because like when they're not on the floor, the Jones sinking like a Bitcoin crash, like the whole score going shoo, like all of a sudden, Cleveland's within the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's Cleveland. Okay, so like, nah. And then let me go all the way back, like all the disrespect's being tracked. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about the Celtics? You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Celtics don't have a chance. Let me answer that question that wasn't asked to me, but I'm answering now. Celtics do not have a chance? Hell yeah, they got a chance, man. So let me give y'all some statistics to run for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So like back to Brooklyn, in the championship odds right now, the favorites to win the championship are the Phoenix Suns plus 270. The Bucks are second plus 475. The Brooklyn Nets are the third team plus 650, and they're the seventh seed. So that's really unheard of. They're the second highest odds in the East. Look at the Celtics, though. So fourth is the Warriors, fifth is the Celtics. So even though the Celtics are going against the Nets, and it's obviously perceived that if the Nets are going to be the third favorite, that the Celtics would have to be eliminated in order for that to happen. The Celtics are still fifth, which means that, like, bruh, there's an equal chance that the Celtics could go all the way. So let's not disrespect the Celtics in any way, shape, or form. Actually, they decided to do the real G alpha thing to do, which was to go full steam ahead and ended up getting that second seed. They ended up drawing the seventh seed, which is Brooklyn in the situation. Some people in the front office was mad. But I think if you're going to be a team that's going to be a dog, you're going to have that dog mentality. You can't be scared to be ducking nobody. And that was the mentality that the coach embodied in that situation. So I respect that. So with that being said, I think Boston still has a very good shot to win the series. But if you look at it, it's not even an underdog anymore. But Brooklyn's got probably just as good a shot. It's a toss-up, really. I mean, if you like, it's like Bryce said, you got two of the best players. You know what I'm saying? You would have to expect like Tatum and Brown, because it's a duel. It's a double duel. You know what I'm saying? You got Tatum and Brown, who in any other series, you got two closers. That's one thing you can say about Boston. They got two closers. Yeah, but so does the Nets. So it's scary. Right? It's scary. And we'll see what happens. Ben Simmons looking like he's about to jump on the court. So I think it's going to be a time where Ben Simmons will end up being on the court. And he's only going to be a plus for them, because if he could be any type of a supported role player in them situations, he crash boards, get some rebounds, maybe run some transition, get the ball to KD and Kyrie, because them boys, they going to rock. And if Ben don't got to touch the rock, that's fine too, because they don't need him to touch the rock. Like, he can just be standing there like Nick Claxton.
If I'm Ben, I'm sitting out the entire season. If Ben Simmons comes back and the Nets start losing, we know what's going to happen. The blame is going to go on Simmons. And there's potential that Simmons could come back and not help that team, right? Because Kyrie is ball dominant. KD's ball dominant. So the guys that play off the ball have to be able to shoot.
Yeah, but I don't think he has to come in, and I don't think he has to. More than I said that he doesn't have to come in. Actually, I think it's ideal that he comes in and he just comes in on the roster. Right now, this is a team that's already in the playoffs, and this man hasn't played all season. He needs to step into a roster, just like if you just got traded to a team. Like, the fundamentals, the intangibles is what counts. So he needs to just come into the roster as a dude that's 6'10", that's athletic, that can rebound, and he can dribble the ball. That's really all he has to kind of stick to. And then whatever fill the gaps, like I said, he needs to be playing in the same spot that Nick Claxton was playing in. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be playing in and building an offense around the guy. This guy just came in, and his mental health is literally in shambles, according to what his public statements are.
He needs to be playing, period. I don't know what's going on with that.
The point is, he's not going to come in and be the fixed piece of the offense. He's going to be like an auxiliary piece, which is fine. That's what he was in the playoffs last year for us anyway. He was a guy that stood in the dunker spot. And that's like I said, that's like Nick Claxton role. So he could kill that role. Just stick to that.
I think he comes in a Patty Mills role, and he can give those guys a break.
Patty Mills. You know what Patty Mills' shooting percentage is?
I'm saying you come in and you handle the ball and you find shooters, right? You come in, you can sit KD if you get Simmons right. You can sit KD and Kyrie, and Ben Simmons can run your team. But if you come in and start him and play him right away, man, Nets could be in trouble.
Now, I think he could play that role, like for the second unit. Maybe you let him run wild a little bit with the second unit. I think you could do both, to be honest. But because
I think
he's
he's
not
got to be with
hurt.
the second
He's not
unit
hurt.
because
He's not hurt.
the Nets'
Let's
second
be real.
unit was, like you said, Bitcoin numbers crashing. So I think
Yes.
Ben leading that second unit is really the only thing that makes a lot of sense. But we keep talking about the Nets being a 7th seed and they still have high chances to win, to win the finals. So obviously this Celtics Nets series is going to be one to watch. What are some other series that stand out to you guys taking a look at it? Jump off.
That's a good question, bro. Honestly,
Scrub, I thought for sure you'd say the Sixers and Toronto. I thought for sure.
Well, if I'm being honest, man, like that series is very troublesome. You know what I mean? Like I'm being completely honest right now. That series is a little troublesome. The East is very much wide open because in the sense that, like I said, Boston could lose in the first round or they could win the championship. Like there's no in between. But same thing for the Sixers. Like the way that the bracket is set up, the Sixers in the 4th spot against the Raptors, and that's a really rough matchup for the Sixers because it seems like the Raptors just give them fits for years now, and Siakam always plays well against them. It's a tough matchup, and then you got Matisse Thybulle that's unvaccinated, so he can't play in any of the games in Toronto. So that's another little Achilles heel because he's a starter. He's a great defender, so that's tough, man. So I feel like if the Sixers are going to have a tough first round series. So if they're able to win that first round series, they'll be in good shape for the rest of the playoffs. Because second round they're going to be looking at probably the Heat, and I think that's a favorable matchup. So like, if the Sixers could beat the Raptors, they could end up there's a good chance they end up in the Eastern Conference Finals. But they got to beat the Raptors. In order to beat the Raptors, I mean, Joel Embiid's going to ball. I know this for a fact. But I think a big X factor is ultimately going to be James Harden. I think we know that he can run the offense. I know James Harden's going to give me 10 plus assists, right? And that's the same thing Ben Simmons will give in a sense as well, right? Except we don't got to be. James Harden is like, yeah, he's not producing like we expect him to, but he's also producing even without trying. He can still score more than Ben Simmons. So there's an upgrade in that sense. So I'm not too worried about it, but I think James Harden is going to have to score a little bit and put his fingerprint on the series to some degree in order for them to win. I don't think he could just kind of laissez-faire his way through this whole series. I don't think the
76ers are on the easy side of the bracket. If they can't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, somebody got to go. Coach.
Bro, hold on, wait. Them boys are not making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, bro.
Not at all.
Bro, I mean,
That's
this is their best.
I agree with you, though. It is inside the bracket.
Wait, bro. They not making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. I go as far as to say either team, even if because I think that the Raptors will probably get the Hornets out of the way. I'm sorry, the Hawks will probably get the Hornets out of the way and be facing the Heat. So, like, either one of those teams, the Heat or the Hawks. The Hawks get the Hornets out of the way. The Heat or the Hawks will get them out of the way again. They'll take the Sixers out again. We want y'all. We ready for y'all, boys. We know y'all script tonight. And the Heat, bro, are one of the most slept-on teams, I think, in this whole situation here. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people sleeping on the Heat. I don't know why. I think maybe it was because that brushed up Jimmy Butler had you done.
No, bro. It's because they're not fun to watch.
They're not fun to watch.
They're not fun to watch.
Team that's been to the finals with
they're a good team.
Essentially the same core that they went to the finals with.
The only
thing different about their core is Bam Adebayo's better. Tyler Lowry better. And Kyle Lowry, who's kind of like a coach on the floor, right? So
they might be the least exciting team.
Man, but they basically got that same squad, and what's my other boy that shoots? Like they basically got the same squad. They went to the finals with.
Duncan
Robinson, right? They got that same team they went to the finals with. It's kind of wild that Duncan Robinson has the last names of the Spurs' best two players. I never thought about that. Duncan and David Robinson in one name.
That's crazy.
He might be destined for chips though with that. That's kind of good look.
But that's one team I feel like is a wild card, and I think will beat the Sixers, but I still don't think could take out the Bucks or the Nets. Which is why I feel like the Bucks or the Nets. It really comes down to those two teams coming out of the East. Once again, it's a damn shame they're on the same side of the bracket. I hate that because I would have loved to see them in the Eastern Conference Finals. But like the series I'm most looking forward to in this first round, bruh, it's the Warriors versus the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because like, yo, the Warriors, according to their standards, have been trashed the 2 seasons before this season, right? But in that trashness, in that being trash, you know, they were able to get these young boys. They got some viable run and experience, bro. From
Develop them.
Toscano Anderson to like all these like random dudes. Yeah, all these random dudes that seem random at one moment. Now they kind of seasoned. You know, now they kind of seasoned, and like you add Steph Curry on that, who's Steph Curry going to be Steph, and you got Klay Thompson in the mix. Draymond Green still one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best impact guys in the league without scoring the basketball. Like he's still that guy. He still makes the right basketball play. He still moves the basketball. He makes the right basketball play without having to score the ball a ton. And then on the other side, you got the Denver Nuggets. Like Nikola Jokic is possibly going for another MVP award. I mean, he's doing things that no one's ever done in the history of the league in seasons, historic seasons. And my question for him last year was, what do all these stats mean? Like, are these stats going to mean anything for Jokic? And if they don't mean anything for Jokic, beating the Warriors would be a huge statement for his stats meaning something. Remember, Jokic don't got his top dog with him this year. You don't got Jamal Murray running with him. So, like, what are you going to be able to do when you are the number one guy? Everyone's keying on you this whole series. What are you going to do? Are you going to rise to the occasion? And like that, to me, is a moment to really cement Jokic. It's not just a stat stuffer, but an elite of elite ball player. You know, top. I don't put Jokic in that top 5 of basketball players in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I still have him probably outside looking in on my top 5. But a run in the playoffs, your man is cemented in my top 5. So we're gonna see how that series goes. I think that series I'm most excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too, actually. Nah, F all that. No, I'm excited to see all that too, man. Because honestly, I think it's going to expose Jokic, man. I'm tired of this Jokic stuff, bro. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yo, Embiid fans want Jokic to be exposed so bad, bro.
No, because he's been exposed.
Jokic versus Embiid thing, bro.
He's been exposed. He's been exposed. He ain't never did nothing. He ain't never did nothing outside the regular season, bro. He ain't never did nothing outside the regular season, bro.
Done with Joel Embiid is done, right?
Joel Embiid made a little noise, at least in the playoffs, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But nah, respectfully though, you know, Jokic and the Nuggets, they might not get swept. I think that's the minimum expectation I can put out for the Nuggets. If they go beyond 5 games, I'll be surprised. If they make it to 6, I'll be a little bit surprised. I can give him a little bit of props, but really, I'm not going to give him any props because they're not going to make it past 6 games. It's not going to be 4. It's not going to go to 7. It's not going to be an interesting series. Jokic doesn't have anything against a team like the Warriors. So, like, make sure you run this tape later when I tell you that Jokic is y'all gonna be the minute the series is over is the minute all these MVP voters should be slapped. Same minute. I'll be ready to slap him like Will Smith, man, because y'all should have voted. If y'all didn't vote for Joel Embiid for the MVP, y'all were taking these empty statters. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all boys don't watch defense. All y'all do is look at stat columns. It's making me sick, man. The Warriors are going to mop the floor with Jokic. Bruh. That's the point. Because when the playoff series comes down to it and you're going to double team Jokic, there's a reason why Joel Embiid is getting double teamed and he's passing out double teams. And there's a reason why Jokic is wide open. There's a difference, bro.
Wide open.
Wide open. Because they not scoring that
you right, B. It's gonna be a run to tape moment. It's gonna be a real run. Either way it goes, this is a run to tape moment. Because Scruff, he's standing on what he's saying, and hey, I'm not too sure if you're right about this, buddy. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I don't know if you're right about it. You're real confident, and Jokic is just faltering in the offs.
Jokic and Ja are the only players in the playoffs that are the lone superstars on their rosters. No other team has one superstar.
But there's a difference there as well, because if you want to carry on with that, I got another run the tape moment. So, we speak on the boy Ja, and we speak on superstars, let's speak on a superstar because, like, honestly, I think the Warriors have a good shot to win the West. But I think if it ain't the Warriors, it's gonna be the Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a really good shot that the Grizzlies win the West. I don't think it's gonna be Phoenix. Let's start there.
I'm gonna tell you
it's
something
not
now.
Be Utah.
I'm gonna tell you something now for your betting interest. If Minnesota gets in there, Minnesota can beat them in a series. Okay. If Minnesota gets there, listen to me.
Stop with the Phoenix disrespect, bro.
No. Who's disrespecting Phoenix?
Scrubs, bro. It's not gonna be Phoenix, bro. Do you watch Phoenix, bro?
I do.
Phoenix is like the definition of a basketball team. Everybody has a role. Everybody plays their role to a T, bro. Like that's literally like poetry in motion when Phoenix is playing basketball, bro.
Again,
they made the run last year. They made the run last year,
but they didn't win the chip.
I'm expecting Phoenix. Okay, I'm expecting Phoenix to go back to the championship, bro. I'm expecting Phoenix to come out of the West. They got more money to come out of the West.
You're expecting that, bro. You should expect that, bro.
And we talking about awards. Monty Williams better get Coach of the Year this year, bro. They give it.
He already got it.
Boy, huh?
He already got it, I think.
Nah, did they give out the award yet?
I thought he already got it.
Nah. They're fake news in it, bro. I don't know.
They ain't give out the award yet. But I know they
this happened last year too.
The Grizzlies, dude. Yo, I'm telling you right now, bro. If they cheated Monty Williams last year, he should have been Coach of the Year last year, bro. No, it's not.
Who's the coach of the Grizzlies?
He should have been Coach of the Year last year, bro.
Chris Paul is the coach of the Suns.
He had no Chris Paul. He had no Devin Booker for the portion of the season, bro. Like DeAndre Ayton had injuries early. Like, bro, come on, bro. He kept them together when DeAndre Ayton's contract situation was going haywire. Come on, bro. Develop Bridges into possibly Defensive Player of the Year. Stop playing with Monty Williams, bro. That's Coach of the Year. Really should be 2 times Coach of the Year, bro.
He got Coach of the Year. I knew I wasn't tripping. Monty Williams is Coach of the Year.
They gave it out
this year.
Yeah.
Sure.
Second straight.
Second straight.
Yeah.
That's
he
good.
Didn't get it last year. He didn't get it last
There's
year.
another regular season award that's not going to be based on the playoffs. That's all I gotta say.
Second straight NBA Coach of the Year.
Another empty statter. No disrespect, Monty. You from the Philly. You from the Philly coaching tree. I don't want to disrespect you, my guy.
I don't know what T. What did they give it to him last year?
Bro, woes don't miss.
Last year,
Woj ain't pulling the Schefter.
Last year, bro, I swear to God, there was 2 Coach of the Years, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought Monty Williams got it. It ended up being somebody else or something like that.
Bro, I don't know, bro.
You remember?
Who would it have been?
Somebody
Who knows
else,
it?
I don't remember. Maybe.
I don't know.
No, it's Monty Williams.
I think T looking at one of them awards they give that one of them secondary awards. he looking at the parade All Americans and not the McDonald's All Americans.
Hey man, one of the viewers out there. Back your boy up, man. Fire up that Google machine.
I remember he got robbed. I was like, bro, your man got robbed last year. I remember that. Let's see. Hold up.
Nah, he wasn't. He didn't get it back-to-back years.
It was Tom Thibodeau last
year. Thibodeau last year.
Hold up.
Tom Thibodeau. They haven't given it out this year.
No, you know who should get it this year though?
I think T looking at
Taylor Jenkins.
Nah, this is what it says. This is what it says. Monty Williams finished second. He didn't get it. He wasn't the second award. He finished second last year.
Looking at one of them fluke awards that they be giving out to like. You know that second.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on.
No. Look, he got it from the National Basketball Coaches Association. That's not the real one.
That's not. Yeah.
That's a fluke headline. T. Bro, that just say, bro, no. Respect, though, T. It says Suns Monty Williams receives NBCA Coach of the Year honors.
That C is in there. You know what's some bullshit.
The first time I read that, I didn't even see NBCA. Like I thought that said NBA.
we know you easily get fooled with names and accounts and shit stuff.
Hey, look,
yo, bro.
Hey, the coaches
with me like I'm not listening.
The coaches gave him Coach of the Year. All right,
bro. All I know is, bro. All I know is, bro, respectfully, they could never have me doing like some like breaking news, Adam Schefter stuff, because I would have definitely been fucking shit up.
Yeah, you had the group chat going crazy with Ball Sack Sports, man. Like, what
Oh
you
my
doing here,
lord! Always check your sources, ladies and
man?
gentlemen.
Always check your sources, bro.
Yo, nah,
So
you gotta
Monty Williams
check your
so
sources.
Monty Williams wasn't coach of the year. That's what y'all telling me.
Scrub reporting Adam Schefter with 2 R's and shit. You know, like, come on, man. That's not it. That's not it.
Hey, I can't report. She looked at the appendix.
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, bro.
My man T, the type to tell you who the high school All Americans are, but only look at the parade list. Like, nah, he's All American, bro. Like, nah, it wasn't in the McDonald's game. You don't count that.
The Panda
The
Express coach
McDonald's
of the
don't
year.
even count, bro, unless you on ESPN.
Hey man, so let's keep it pushing, fellas. I think we got a little culture for them to dive into, man. I don't know if y'all heard about it. My boy was in the news again, man. My boy Cam Newton making a little podcast news.
Oh,
He's making waves. I don't know if these are the kind of waves you want to make though. He had some comments about the ladies and cooking, and that never goes well. That never goes well. I think we got a clip to play though, so we'll let you sink your teeth into this.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents has been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Okay.
A bad bitch is a person who's just, girl, I'm a bad bitch. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
And it's a lot of women who are bad bitches. And I say bitches in a way, not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that, no, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
Look at my man's face, bro.
Hey, Wallow.
Wallow, like, hold up, bro.
Wallow say, okay.
Wallow looking
Yo,
at him like you might
that
be
pause
careful,
was good.
dog, but go ahead and finish.
Wallow, he like, yeah, you go get the whole show canceled, bro. Shout out to Wallow, man. Wallow did 20 years in jail, came home, and motivated folks. But
Yeah, Wallow that dude, man. And the way Gilly and Wallow be going at each other is hilarious, man. But this Cam Newton video, I feel like whenever you have to clarify your use of the word bitch, you're probably not getting your point across too well. I'm just saying, like, whenever you gotta be like, but the way I'm saying bitch is this, like, bro, you probably not doing a great job of getting that point across.
So how you mean though?
I'm just saying, bro. But I think in Cam's, he didn't say much. But
defend him.
I gotta try. I gotta try, bro. I feel like he tried to make a point. He just didn't make it well. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot better ways to try to say what he was trying to say. But I also think that, like, you have to accept that Cam's, and that sounds like he's not a guy that's accepting that the world is changing, right? And we do have to accept that the world is changing. But I think what his ultimate point is, we can't accept the changes in the world and disregard the clear differences between men and women, right? Like, there are differences, but even with those differences, the world is changing. And how do we address that is, I feel like, a question that so many people, it's hard for so many people to answer and to come to terms with. But and you end up with that type of answer from Cam Newton, where, like, very divisive, if you ask me. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. What did y'all think? Let's keep diving into this before I go any further, man.
My initial reaction was like, I said that he was spitting facts, but that's partially true. So part of it was facts. Like when the part where he said to me, and this is because it's facts. This is the only reason it's facts because it's to him. To me, woman is X, Y, and Z. I think that was the facts that he did spit because for him, that is what he needs from a woman, and that's fair because everybody is different, right? And that's the thing you gotta respect in the situation is that like, you know, that's what he needs. But everything that he said before that, and then everything that he said after that was like super problematic, right?
But
Super
even with
problematic.
that though, how he went through his whole thing to define what a woman was, and the only thing he really came up with is you can't cook. Like you know
Nah,
what
but
I'm saying? Like he was
why it
like
was that.
you a bad bitch, you not a woman. Can you cook? Like that's your whole thing was boiled that. That's why he like didn't really say anything, and you really have to try to decode what he was saying to give him any like to make it make any type of sense because it all boiled down to one statement: you can't cook, so you're not a woman.
Yeah.
Like he didn't say anything
That's
else.
part of the
Bro,
problem, though.
it's
Wait,
what he's talking about, and I believe it comes from a sincere place, but it's wrong, right? He said his idea of a wife and a woman, he said it comes from his mom and his grandmother. I mean, Cam Newton, a big boy, man, 6'5", about 240, 245. Like, food is important to him. You don't get the 240 by missing meals. I mean, that's just the heart of it. But like, if you really take a look at what he's talking about, right? If you take these really old traditional values of what it means to be a woman, right? That was written by a man, most more than likely. But cooking and cleaning and raising children and yada yada yada, holding women to these super traditional standards. Can Cam Newton fix a carburetor? I don't even know if that still exists. But this is proving my point. Can Cam Newton build a house? You know what I'm saying? By hand, not go out and earn money, right? Because that's part of it. But can Cam Newton do those things that men were required to do once upon a time? Probably not. We know he's a good football player. Judging by my man's hat, I'm going to say if his transmission goes out, he probably have to pay somebody to put a new one in. He can't go out and do it on his own. He can't take his family and fend for themselves. If they were stuck on a farm somewhere. So like men don't have to, for some reason, right? Men aren't held to these standards of yesteryear, but they keep holding women to these standards of do what you used to do what your grandmother did, do what your grandfather did then. Your grandfather didn't get on podcast and degrade women. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. Like, he didn't,
He did that shit at the fireplace.
You making a point, but that's still very nuanced in itself, right? Because like on the flip side, there's a lot of things that women there's a lot of things that men are doing today that they weren't doing then, and they're not doing now that they were doing then. And the same could be said for women because like generations change and times change. You know what I mean? And that's just a fact of life. And I think like but there's so much confusion in like trying to determine where everybody stands in this new age, or where the two genders should stand in this new age. Because like my grandfather always used to hold all the doors for my grandmother. If I just stop holding the door for my shorty, like what's she going, what am I going to look like? You know what I'm saying? How am I going to justify that? Like, well, we're in a new time and my grandfather held all the doors, but I don't think in this new age, I don't think I can need to hold the doors. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there are things, we can point to things that are still done and things that aren't done anymore. But like, where are we all supposed to stand, or where are we supposed to stand as genders? And even with like, different genders different gender classifications that we now, that we count that we view that are legitimate, and that we have to give that respect to. Like, how do we classify everything, and how do we classify the roles? And I think it becomes more and more difficult at this time.
Why are we classifying them? Why are we classifying the roles? Like, what's the significance of classifying those roles?
Yeah, so this is my thing with it. I agree with T, bro. Like, there's no significance in classifying the roles, and I think that's where Cam Newton missed the mark the most. Like, he's living in this world where his grandma, was a good woman and she cooked and did all the good woman things that a 1950s or 60s housewife is supposed to do, right? But the problem is, it's 2022, and we live in a world where a woman can be a bad bitch and come home and cook and cater to her man. Like, you don't think Beyonce can, put on what she wants, go out, look bad, and then come home and make a meal for Jay-Z? Because something tells me she could do both.
I don't
You don't
know.
think
I
Rihanna
don't
could
know
do?
if
Bag,
Beyonce
bro.
frying no chicken, bro. I don't know.
Bruh.
Beyonce from the South, bro.
Come on,
And
She
bro.
might be frying chicken like Paula Patton, bro.
bro, you know what this
Stop.
disregards, bro.
No, don't disrespect her.
This disregards the fact that women, like, you don't know what your mom did. Like, you don't know what your grandma did. You don't know if your mom was this quote unquote bad bitch. You don't know that. Like, why would she show you who she was other than mom? Like, you know her as mom. You
Facts.
know grandma's grandma. So to say that these women couldn't do that, your mom could have been in the juke and Ray's boom boom room. You know what I'm saying? Getting the free drinks. You don't know
I also, I
But
also,
because she cooked for you, you didn't see that shit, right? I don't know what the
that,
fuck.
but right.
Like
So
that's
all you got a meal and but that's all you know, bro. But like expand your mind and how about trying to engage these women versus running away from them? You know what I'm saying? Like every
well,
woman's not.
But
that's
please
what I
tell
Go
me
ahead,
wanted
where
to
bro.
get
I'm
into.
wrong. Go
I
ahead, man.
don't think Cam Newton, and this is me from afar. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know if Cam Newton is necessarily putting himself in a situation where he's around these quote unquote good women, or is he putting himself in a situation where he's around a bunch of bad bitches? Because the law of attraction, like you attract certain things based off the energy you put out there, bro. So if you're running into a bunch of dumb broads that can't cook, you know what I mean? Like that's you. You're putting that out there. You need to be in better circles. Maybe you'll meet better people. But at the
Bro,
same time, man, I just feel like we live in a world where most women are capable of doing both. Like we're really doing everything. Like, I've seen women changing tires, changing carburetors, all that. Like it's
Facts.
2022.
Nah,
don't
facts.
Cam Newton got four kids by, you know what I'm saying, the same woman
Yeah,
and didn't
I
marry
didn't even
her?
want to. I didn't even want to. Yeah,
No,
I didn't want to put him out
I'm not
there.
hating on him, but what I'm
I
saying
thought
is
he was married. He not married?
Mm-mm.
not to his kid's mother. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What I'm saying is your grandfather wouldn't have did that. You
That's
was
what I'm
from
saying.
a
Yeah,
you
but
was from a per
granddad might have a whole other family you ain't know about.
but granddad probably took care of both though. Granddad probably took
Okay,
care
but
of
that's
both.
and my point
You probably
back to
right,
T's
G.
point is that somebody's grandmother. Somebody's grandmother was the side that was with the other family. Like that was somebody's grandmother.
It's a fact.
I just
Y'all should watch Rothaniel on HBO.
Oh my lord.
You seen that?
Free plug.
That was what that was all about. But
nah.
yeah,
I,
nah,
I
y'all make some good points, man.
I think
It's no
go ahead.
disagreeing with any side of these arguments. Like I think everything said here is valid, and I think that just kind of contributes to the whole like conversation of like everybody's trying to define where everybody stands. You know what I mean? And that's a part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think what it really boils down to is, you got to find your fit and what works for you in your relationship and in your household, or in your situation, or in your entanglement, or in your. All right, no, I'm done. But I'm just saying, you
The-
gotta find what works for you though. At the end of the day, and like the comparisons is what comparisons are the ultimate killer of all hope. You know what I mean? So like, stop with the comparisons and like whatever works for you, let it work for you. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
what's working for
the,
Cam Newton not gonna work for me, or not gonna work for y'all, or not gonna work. Everybody different, like stuff said. So
yeah, like it's
different
nothing wrong
strokes for
with
different folks.
not wrong with wanting a woman that could cook, but like what I'm tired of seeing though is guys that are like they have the ability to go out and meet various women and find the women that they want. But they get on the internet and they complain and they
Entitled.
degrade. Bro, it's whack. Like
Yeah,
I
but
was
let
just
me
and
talking.
that,
back
and
up
that
though.
goes both ways. That
Well,
goes
I back
both
up
ways.
though. I
It's
wasn't
like
finna
if you
agree with
judge
that.
No,
and if you
it
judge it by
don't.
social media, bro, it does, bro. Like I see, that's what I'm saying. And also, we gotta say, what are we judging it by? Because like my everyday dudes that I hang with, bro, they're not doing that. But if I judge it by social media, and I get on the timelines and I look at the comments or the tweets or the responses or to any various social media, and I let my opinion be shaped by that, I'm gonna have a real messed up view of men and women in today's society.
Oh yeah,
Because
for
like
sure.
it's all pretty toxic, bro. Like it's all on one side of the aisle or all on the other side. And the people that feel in the middle or indifferent, usually not the ones commenting on social media about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a logical view of it, you're probably not on social media trying to make your voice be heard on those topics. And the ones that are making their voice heard on those topics are the ones that are clearly on one side or the other.
I mean, they say hit dog holler. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure Cam Newton has probably met a number of women that, you know what I'm saying, have a lot of qualities outside of cooking. But when you say, when they find out they can't cook, you throw the whole woman away. Like that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. The rhetoric just rubbed me wrong. And just as a guy, you know what I'm saying, that values women, like, I don't understand it. Like,
Nah,
values
you know what it
people.
is though.
Like,
You know what it is though. It's like he like he can't. This is really the onset of unemployment. But you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he always been like foul though. Like, let me pull up. I've been fact checking cats all day. Nah, he always been foul though, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you go way back when, let's remember when Cam Newton was doing an interview, and it was a female reporter that interviewed him, and he said, "Oh, that's cute. You talking about running routes and shit." You remember that? You remember that shit? You know, like
Nah, I do
mind you,
remember that.
this reporter has literally won like awards for her journalism since then. You know, but I think that's cute, yo. You out here talking about
Yeah.
running routes and shit. You know what I'm saying? And now you talk about this shit, right? So it's just a bad look. And then also the unemployment is when you start branching out. You say, oh, you know what, Cam? Let me go do some publicity. And then next thing you know, you're doing a podcast with Brittany Renner. And now you are here on your next podcast talking about bad bitches and blah, blah, blah. Maybe something that she said might have rubbed you the wrong way. My brother, you need to stay in your lane, bro. Like, you going all out of your lane.
There it
You in
is.
the hose lane. You stepping in the hose lane. Bryce, you know where that's at in Piscataway. You don't want to go down that lane.
Scruffy's got it. You just figured it out, bro. I
You don't
think
want
you
to
just
go
figured
down
it
that
out,
lane.
man. My man must have tapped Brittany Renner, and then she
Nah, I don't
couldn't
think he
cook.
tapped it.
She
I don't think he
couldn't
tapped
cook.
it.
Now he on another podcast.
That's
Talk
not what I
about,
said. That's
hey,
not what I said. That's not what I said. I
hey,
didn't say
man,
he
these
tapped
bitches
it.
can't cook.
I didn't say he tapped it, but he brushing shoulders with the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously,
Nah, the timeline makes a lot of sense, man. He had Brittany Renner on his show. You know, now a couple weeks later, you're talking about these bad bitches can't cook. Like, I ain't never seen her make a meal.
Hey,
nah, look.
I agree with you. Oh, go ahead, T.
No, I was gonna say, look, there is something right, and this
put
just
that
goes to
butt in
show
the
you,
oven
right?
pretty good.
There's a lot of people, right? I think Cam's a really articulate guy, but being articulate doesn't always mean that you're able to express your point of view or get your thoughts
Right.
across in the most
That's
palatable
right.
way.
Articulate don't mean he make no damn sense.
Nah, but look, I do think at the heart of what he was trying to say is that, you know, being a good wife, there's something about being a good wife that has to do with knowing how to nurture your potential mate, and that goes both ways. And I think he could have got to that point better. I think he probably could have expressed that better, but unfortunately, it did come out sounding like knockoff
He
Walmart Kevin
missed
Samuels.
he missed that point by so much. Like I see what
Right.
you're saying, T. Like I would agree with that point of maybe some of today's women or in today's society it's not really preach to women that you need to cater to your man or be there for your man and his time of needs. You don't ever really see women talking about, oh, I'm gonna help this guy up, and when he gets on I'm gonna stay with him, that type of stuff. You don't see that kind of thing happening no more. uh but listening to what Cam said in the podcast, that just don't seem like where he was really. It seems like he wanted to go there, but he didn't know how to get there. So
That's a fact, Rome. He wanted to go there. He didn't know. He didn't have the GPS coordinates. You know what I'm saying? My man had the map quest trying to get there. It was taking wrong turns every left and right. Like, I think that was the issue. And Cam Newton shouldn't be the one talking about this. But and it's fair to hold Cam Newton accountable. You know what I'm saying? And it's also fair to try to decode what he was actually saying and what he was actually trying to get to. I think those are both fair. And if we're going to hold Cam Newton accountable, let's just hold all sides of the aisle accountable when ridiculous things happen or ridiculous things are said. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we do that, we'll get closer to the middle that we got to find in this struggle to figure out who's who and what's what. I think we'll get closer if we're just holding everybody accountable when they say some bullshit.
But I think you said it right when saying you spoke on it earlier. bro, figure out what works best for you. You know what I'm saying? What it's gonna like, what type of person helps you thrive. Maybe that is cooking. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need some extra meat on your bones. Maybe that's not cooking. Maybe that's somebody that can help you be financially accountable or financially stable. I don't know, but like find what works for you and then grow from there. And I think that ultimately that's the solution here versus picking on men or picking on women and saying what people should or shouldn't be. Like you can't box people in, and that's what we see a lot of on social media, like you said. Black and white, let's box them in. You got to be this, you got to be that. People are all things, you know what I'm saying, at once.
Facts.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, so before we get out of here, fellas, any last thoughts, final words before we wrap this up?
Uh, hmm.
Download the app, hit the follow button, subscribe. You see the fly ass dad hats, my man Scruff and Bryce got on, copy one of those.
Hey, I got one thing, yo. If you still on with us through the whole hour 20 minutes, drop a 100 in the comments right now for the 100th episode, man. Go ahead and drop it at 100, man. 100th episode of Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. Hopefully, we got 100 more in the tank for y'all, and 100 more after that. But go ahead and drop those hundreds in the comments, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us for this long, and hopefully we can keep giving y'all that content the way we have thus far. And hopefully, it just gets better and better from here.
Yes, sir. We definitely got more stuff coming, man. Nothing but bigger and better things. We got to end it for the 100th time the way we ended it the first time, man. Sports for the culture.
Sports for the culture. Dr. Kalatua.